This is Bjorn from Iotunn. You are listening to the Dan Chan Show.
Hey Bjorn, thanks for joining me on the show tonight. How are you? In a sunny mid-Denmark, right?
I'm very, very good. Yeah, it's kind of sunny, but then the sun went away and we got rain. So up and down, I would say.
How warm does it
But
get
I'm
in
very,
Denmark?
very good.
How warm does it get in Denmark in the summer?
I think it actually gets pretty warm. I would say 30 degrees Celsius, not uncommon when we got the sunshine.
Nice.
So pretty warm, a little too warm for my taste, actually.
You Scandinavians, I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
So first off, let me get the pronunciation of the band right. It's Iotunn. Iotunn? Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That is right. Yeah.
Because I think most people probably read it as, like, I think when I first, Iotunn or whatever, but the I and the O is a yo.
Yeah, there's a lot of people reading it like that, and it makes sense also, but it's just pronounced Jotun, like there's a part of Norway called Jotunheim. It's just an old Nordic word actually,
Right.
for giant or
For giant, for big.
yeah, for like this big mythical creature from the Nordic old Nordic religion.
Interesting.
Viking age.
Interesting. We'll get into that then. So I want to talk about this new track. You just released this awesome track, Mistland, which I've played a couple of times on my show already. A track you want to get out whilst writing your second album. What made you want to skip ahead? And you must have heard this track and thought, God, we need to get this out now. Is that what it was?
It was, it's something like that. It was, because we know that it's going to take a long time to finish the second album. We're going to probably release it, and I can't be sure of this, but we hope to release it in 24.
Cool.
So, and we thought this is a long time for people to wait. We could make like this song was actually pretty much done vocal wise. So it would be fast for us to wrap it up and like make a product where we could send it off to get mixed and mastered, get a great result, you know. So that's why we kind of thought this song could be a cool single also. So let's move on this and get something out to the people. So we have something to stir the waters before we have to wait up a year.
Was it the only track that was in the offing, or was this what was so special about Mistland?
I think the way the track, of course, it's a long track, but in many ways, it's also like it's a catchy tune at the same time. I think, of course, it's up to people to judge, but we all thought it had like single material. Like it's not a huge long progressive song. It's more, it's got like verse chorus structure and then a big ending, you know. So in a way, it's kind of simple also, and a very cool guitar solo in the middle. So we thought this is a cool single. It doesn't give away too much of the album, and at the same time we can make a single that can be, I don't know how you describe this. I mean, it ticks kind of some of the boxes that a great pop song would do also, you know. So it's catchy. So we thought this was a great one to start with. Yeah,
absolutely. I agree. I've not heard what you're doing so far with the rest of the new album. But before we go into that, I want to ask you more about the historics of the band, and I want to talk to you about the new album and what's going to go on. But tell me about the awesome video for this track, Mistland, as well, because it's quite a famous artist, right? Got involved in it. How did that all happen?
Yeah, well, we got in touch with Costin for our first album, Access All Worlds. He made a video for the Weaver System, a song off that album, and he did a fantastic job on that one. And we've known Costin's work for a while, also through other bands, and we've also had we've always had a nice eye for this stuff he does. I think we all think he's a fantastic artist. So it was natural for us to say, let's do another one on the second album with him. So we approached him, and he really liked the song. It seems to me that he really enjoyed the song a lot. So he wanted to do something extra for it. So he really poured his heart and soul into it, and I'm so happy about the result. I think it turned out really amazing.
Because he's done artwork for what other bands has he done artwork for? He's done. I know Ghost he's done stuff for, right? And
yeah, I think he's done artwork for a lot of different bands. I've seen him do album artwork for Arcturus. He's also done for I can't actually remember the names. I just know he's done for a lot of big bands. So he's like very popular.
Yeah. And
With good reason.
there's a very cool video I think Metal Blade released with, was it 5 minutes of the creation of the video as well.
Yeah.
Where it's very, very cool. Well worth watching.
Exactly.
Well worth watching. So
exactly.
Let's get into, how is the writing going for the next album? Have you written it? Is it in recording process? Is it the same theme as the last one? What can we expect? How are you evolving? Tell me more.
Yeah. I would say that writing wise, it's almost done in a way. We need to write more vocal parts, but the music as a whole, like the drum parts, the guitar parts, it's very much finished. Maybe some things will change, but we're 90% of the way there, I would say. Okay, Eskil needs to write some of his bass parts also.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then we need to do all the details like synthesizer voices. We need to do sound effects, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But we are very, very close to having you can say like all the big outlines there. I mean,
Great.
And I've recorded the drums, so they also kind of closes that chapter off. So
Definitely.
So there's a limited what we have to work on that, so there's limited what we can do afterwards and changing things too much up, but we're a long way ahead. But of course there's a lot of work in writing the vocals still, and also all the small parts. It's takes a lot of time.
Yeah, sure.
And then we have to get it mixed also. Yeah.
Of course.
And released.
And released. Yeah. Big long process. Now, the writing the tracks of your length, these long tracks, this progressive metal. I mean, how do you tackle tracks? I mean, I'm from a band background. I'm a drummer myself. How do you go ahead and write tracks of that length? I mean, some of your tracks are, epics, right? Do you write them in segments, or does it all just come naturally, or you just keep repeating them? Well, how does it work?
Well, it starts with Jesper and Jens Nikolai, our guitar players. They start writing a big guitar arrangement, and they don't really put drums on it. They just write guitar stuff. So they have like a big project in the computer with filled with guitar tracks, and they just keep working on that until they actually feel that just listening to the solo electric guitars sound very awesome.
Okay.
And when they're happy with that and they can imagine this being a song, they send it off to me typically.
Mm-hmm.
And I put it in my computer and I go jam drums on it.
Nice.
And when I'm happy with what I've done, I send it back to them. And then maybe sometimes when I do drums, it puts a new light on the song. So maybe we find out this section has to be longer, or this section has to be shorter, or maybe we'll cut this section out, or whatever. But sometimes it's like one of those big things where the composition takes form and it comes into a new light, and we can use that as a stepping stone to get further on.
Yeah.
The same way with the vocals also. Also when Bjorn does his vocals, maybe we'll say, okay, this chorus, man, it sounds so great, we have to get it 2 times in here, or they have to be double the length, or whatever it can be to get a vocal idea on. So in many ways, that's how we do it mostly. And when I've done the drums, Jon will do the vocals and Eskil will do the bass on top of the drums and the guitars. That's usually how it is.
Is it complicated doing that? I mean, have you ever been in a standard 4/4 rock band and kept it simple, or is this the first major band that you've been performing in that's actually taking it to studio? It must be very complicated.
Yeah, this is definitely the biggest band I've been in, but also because I've never really played with so many other bands when I was in Iotunn, because we have a long history together. So I mean, we all kind of grew into being a bigger and better band, all of us actually. So I have a little studio experience from beforehand, but that's just like small projects and stuff like that. So I kind of I'm shaped by the band in many ways as a musician also.
Yeah.
I mean, the band forced me to become better and better.
That's how it should be, right?
Really like this.
Yeah,
exactly.
So that's led me perfect into getting some history from the band. Being a band that's based in Denmark and the Faroe Islands, you must have a lot of inspiration for the writing. How does that run through the music? And tell me about how the band formed and how it got together and to where you are right now.
It formed for a long time ago. It formed in the second biggest city in Denmark, Aarhus. We were kind of inspired to be a 70s kind of rock band. I mean, we could have gone on maybe sounding like I don't know, Wolf Mother or something
Yeah,
like that,
yeah.
like a completely different thing. But we had a lot of inspirations, also like Pink Floyd, like or maybe acid rock stuff like that. But
Mm,
all of us had like we had like a one foot in that and one foot in heavy metal. We always listened a lot to heavy metal music,
yeah.
with the parties and stuff like that. So
Mm-mm.
we were all heavy metal fans, and suddenly it just became the risk became harder. More and more hard rock entered our realm of writing music, and then all of a sudden, a double pedal entered the business, and then all of a sudden it was just like a little thrash riff here and there, a little black metal riff here and there, and then all of a sudden it was just like I don't know if you can say like no limits on where we could take it.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's why it developed in such a kind of also very slow way, but to be like in a broad palette of sounds we can make or we like to make.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
how did you
But
get
this is like
together with the Faroe Islands connection? Because I believe your vocalist is from the Faroes. Is that right?
yes, that's right. We broke up with our old singer back in 2017, and we had to find a new singer. And we kind of, yeah, we. I think Jon was on our minds from the get go actually, but we knew he was a busy guy. So I mean, and we were just like kind of we didn't really have a big name yet or anything like that. We were just a very small band still. Um, But we approached him, and he was like, "Yeah, this is I don't have time for this, but I'll do it anyway."
Right.
he,
Okay.
he thought it was a great demos we sent him, so he did it. And over the course of a couple of years, we went back and forth, and he flew to Copenhagen and did demos, and eventually did the album take for Access All Worlds.
Nice. And
Yeah,
and
that's how we got involved.
and how have you been to the Faroe Islands?
I've been there once. We played a festival up there
Nice.
last summer. Great experience.
I
Yeah,
mean, that
fantastic place. I
those
can really recommend it.
landscapes there, and especially, and also Denmark as well, with the whole Scandinavian, the myth, the mythology, and the water around you all the time. How does that draw influence into the writing of the lyrics? Who writes the lyrics in the band?
Jon writes the lyrics.
Yeah, but does he
Yeah.
influence? Does he get a lot of influence from the land and the environment?
I don't really know how. I don't really know actually, but I would suppose that if you grew up in a place like that, you have some sort of influence,
Yeah,
just
naturally.
like subconsciously, maybe.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
would imagine. But I mean, like, I mean, if you live in Denmark, you can be very envious of the landscapes in Norway and Sweden and the Faroe
sure.
Islands, because Denmark is very flat. We have some nice woodlands,
Yeah, yeah.
but it's just very flat and a lot of farmlands. So we don't have nature like that. But the dramatic nature they have there is
Mm,
amazing. I mean,
mm. So, as you mentioned, you released your debut album, Access All Worlds, 2 years ago. Is it 2 years ago now? Roughly about 2 years, 21?
it is actually a little bit more than 2 years ago. It was February in 21 we released
Right.
it. Yeah,
Okay. So it's just over
yeah.
2 years. So what was the reception like for that release, and how far have you come now, and how did the Metal Blade thing come about? Tell me about all that.
Yeah, I mean, the release, it went better than we could have imagined. We got, I don't have much to compare it to, of course,
Mm,
but all of a sudden, there's a ton of magazines around the world writing about our music, our little band, and we got a very good reception.
mm.
I think I would say that the music resonates, of course, a lot with us in the band, but to get the reception that this translates to other people as well was really a fantastic experience.
Mm.
So we were very happy about that, and also I would say that the Metal Blade helped us a lot. When we had the finished master with Access All Worlds, we approached Metal Blade and also some other record companies to see if there were any of them would be like interested. And Metal Blade was interested, and we thought to ourselves, this is we're going to have to get help to get it out there. We can't
Mm.
do it ourselves. So we
Mm.
thought we have to go with a record label, and to get on board with a big one was great for us because they just have a different outreach.
Yeah, absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
mean, you could probably take zeros away from our streams and plays on different places if we haven't gone with them.
It was a perfect match.
We're very, very happy about that. Yeah.
Yeah, the great label, one of the best. And, being from Denmark, what's the metal scene and community like in Denmark? I mean, I can vouch for and can you vouch for the Faroe Islands as well? I mean, I can only think of Tyr from there, I think it is. And you've got bands like Convent, in Denmark. What are the bands? Yeah. What's the scene like in Denmark?
I would say it's actually very broad also. And there's a scene in Aarhus. There's a scene in Copenhagen. And then, of course, there's all kind of bands from all around also, even though it's a small country. There's this big death metal scene actually in Copenhagen where there's tons of bands producing death metal the old way, like really unpolished, very nice.
Yeah, we like that.
And then of course there's there's the big Danish band Hatesphere, which they've been around for a while.
Of course.
There's also a new Danish death metal band Based. They are really hitting it off and becoming a big band also. So I think the Danish scene is more vital than ever. Actually, I think it's going better for the Danish scene than it has in a long while.
That's good.
There's a lot of young, promising bands, and also a lot of the bands that get on board with bigger record labels.
Good. Yeah.
That seems to me to be a little. It's not so typical actually, but stuff are happening. Yeah.
Good to know. Now, as a drummer, who are your influences as drummers, and who do you look up to? You do aspire.
I have so many. It's so hard. I mean, it depends. I mean, I really like Mickey D from Motorhead, and I like his work with on the old King Diamond albums. That's some of the best drumming I've ever heard.
Yeah.
And I like Thomas Hoke from Meshuggah very much. But it's for me, it's very all the typical ones. I think Danny Carey from Tool is a big influence on me. Not that I can play anything like that, but he's still a subconscious influence.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, stuff Phil Collins did on the old Genesis albums, I think. Amazing drumming. I really like that. I mean, that's if there's a quiet part in Iotunn, maybe I'll try to emulate.
Phil comes out. Yeah. Other than metal, what other music do you listen to? Do you chill out to anything specific?
I like a lot of electronic music. I actually like a lot of. I actually like psytrance techno. I like weird electronic music, and I also like a lot of old 70s prog rock. I mean, like King Crimson, Genesis, stuff like that.
So, show-wise, what is on the agenda for for this year? Is the writing and recording getting in the way of you getting out and playing?
We haven't had so many offers, but it might actually. So we don't know. Right now we have Midgardsblot in Norway, and then we have Summer Breeze.
Yeah.
Just like 1 day apart, actually. So that's a little mini tour for us, and we're looking very much forward to that. But after that, it's kind of quiet. Then we have to wait all the way until the winter time, and in the winter time we'll have 70,000 tons of metal with a big cruise ship.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that's going to be like a big experience.
Nice gig.
And but we don't really have much else at the moment. We have maybe some tours we're trying to figure out when can be, or
is that frustrating? Sort of stuff, is that frustrating for you? And what do you prefer? Do you prefer the studio or the stage as a drummer for yourself? Being selfish.
I think I prefer the stage. I mean, the studio for writing and being creative and stuff is very much fun.
Of course.
But doing the takes for the album, that's hard work.
Oh, I know. I know what it's like.
Frustrating.
I know. And what can we expect from a Iotunn's show? What's a show like for you guys? With those long tracks, is it like, oh no, here's a 10-minute coming up? How do you approach it? How does it work?
Oh yeah. We don't think so much about the length of the tracks, but we just we try to let the music speak. I think it's maybe we're a little bit. I don't know if you can say we're like trying to create a mystic atmosphere. Maybe.
Yeah.
Of course, it can be different when we have like the broad daylight.
Yeah, on a boat
festivals. So, yeah, exactly. Or, yeah, but we try to be a little bit. I don't know. Maybe just delve into the music and let the music speak for itself. We don't speak too much between songs.
Right.
Like
Okay.
so it's a little. And
Keeping
then
mystique.
hopefully we can get to be bigger. We can get bigger light shows and bigger. I mean, stuff to look at. Also
That'd be nice.
At the same time.
And that's great to have that
actually.
option and to know that you've got a plan for that. You know, because Rammstein didn't start off with pyrotechnics, did they, on the first show? You know.
No, you have to build that slowly also. But I mean, like, we take a great honor in like trying to put as many means we can into doing the show, like really making as big a show as we can and can afford also. So,
do you have any fun pre-show rituals of note? Like Rammstein, for example, they have a shot of tequila. I think Lemmy built Kinder eggs while having a lap dance. Do you guys do anything like that?
We just go around to each other and look each other in the eyes and pat each other on the back and say, "Yeah, we're gonna do great tonight," and bring up the energy. Yeah, and then maybe I don't know, we just jump around, try to get like the worst adrenaline rush out of the system.
Especially as a drummer, you've got to get the blood going, right? You got to get your exercises going.
Oh yeah, exactly. But also, I mean, like all the adrenaline, so you don't have to want to start the songs too fast because you're just
I've been there.
Wreck. Yeah.
Now, what do you want to achieve from releasing music and being in a great band? It's it's a selfish question, but what shows, festivals, support slots, key moments are you looking forward to treasuring in the future?
I mean, of course, we have very typical dreams as a rock band. You know, we would like to play bigger shows, play better slots at the festivals, and play more festivals and play more shows. Of course, I think a big upcoming dream for us would be like doing a tour. That would be really, to do a big tour around Europe would be a fantastic experience.
I can see that's gonna happen next year, mate. That's gonna happen next year.
I hope so.
I can so see that happening. Right. Final message to people who know the band and maybe those that don't. What are you going to say to them?
Take time off to go and click on our like button on Facebook and social media and have a listen to our music. I would say if you like big melodic music, you might like our music, and then you can follow along and see where the history will take us. Maybe our travels will go, and
take it from there.
That's it.
So, and finally, what track from your first album do you want me to play next and why? I've already played Mistland at the start of this. So what do you want me to play from your first album and why?
I think you should play Waves Below, because it's like, I think to me it's one of my favorite songs to play live. It's so energetic. It's a great heavy metal song. There's a lot of technical stuff for all the flashy things that people like that, and also it's just great melodies. So Waves Below is a great song. It's also a long song, maybe, so I don't know if it.
I'm playing it.
Interrupting the radio flow.
I'm playing the entirety. Don't worry, it's coming up next. Great. Bjorn, thanks so much for joining me on the show. Good luck with the recording of the new album, and I look forward to seeing what's next for the band.
Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to sharing it so much. We can't wait.